Our first speaker is Jim White. Jim is a man of faith and family. He's been married for 34 years, is the father of 6, and the grandfather of 6.5. You're supposed to laugh at that, but he's grandchildren number 7 is due in January. Jim has had a lifelong interest in family spiritual enrichment. Over the years, his interest has been fed by a long list of books, programs from inspirational people and topics. As an advocate for the family, Jim is currently working on to launch a nonprofit organization focused on family enrichment and development. Please help me, welcome Jim White to the Spark stage.
Well, true or false, the primary objective of all children is to challenge every rule or decision made by their parents. It's true. As parents, we are constantly being bombarded with arguments specifically designed to break us down and get us to compromise our principles and our values. But if you think about it, it makes sense. How else do we expect our children to get a sense of what is right and what is wrong, what is important and what is not? They learn this information by continuing to push and question us, their parents, to see where the lines really are. Now, the arguments can take many forms. The poor, poor, pitiful me argument is commonly used to try to get out of doing something that the child does not want to do. This is where they tell you how stressed out they are and how hard their life is. The goal is to invoke a feeling of sympathy within the parent. Now, another common tactic is the "that's not fair" approach. With this approach, the goal is to make the parent feel guilty while at the same time putting them on the defensive. And if you think about it, it's brilliant. With all the other arguments, the child has to come up with the logic or the reasoning. But if done properly, the "that's not fair" argument shifts that burden of proof from the child to the parent. This is done with the effective use of silence just after the statement, "that's not fair." Here's what it sounds like. Junior comes to Dad and says, "Hey, everybody's going to Johnny's house for a party tonight. Can I go?" And Dad says, "Well, that's fine, but you'll need to be home by 11 o'clock. To which Junior responds, "But everybody else is staying until midnight." So Dad restates his position. He says, "I didn't ask what everybody else was doing. I said you will need to be home by 11 o'clock. Well, at this point, Junior brings out the heavy artillery. "But that's not fair." And then he just stares at Dad. You see, from here, it's a matter of discipline. Who is going to break the silence first? If Dad offers one shred of evidence to support his decision, he's reopened the door to negotiations, which is exactly what the child wants. Now, what our children don't realize, and I think as parents we sometimes forget, is that we have a secret weapon at our disposal, a collection of words that defies all logic and reason, a position that we can take regardless of the circumstance or the arguments made to us. We can simply say, and say it with me, "because I said so." How many of you remember hearing this as a child, right? It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? It ends all discussion. But here's the amazing thing that I've discovered. When you support a rule or decision that you've made with the statement, "because I said so," you're actually setting a wonderful example for your child. You are demonstrating to them what it means to stand alone on your principles, to be true to your values. You are saying to them, "I don't need logic, reason, or even public support. All I need is to listen to my own inner voice, to know what is the right thing to do, and then I do it." Why? Because I said so. Well, the bottom line is children always have and they always will challenge their parents. And as parents, it's our job to stand firm. Whether we're talking about allowances, curfews, or R-rated movies, we need to trust that love in our hearts and do what is right for our children. Consider this the next time one of your rules or decisions is being challenged. While it may be more convenient and less confrontational to compromise your principles and values, in the long run, this is not the best thing for your child. These conflicts are your best opportunity to teach your principles and values. And remember, if you ever find yourself in one of those really difficult spots, all you got to do is say, "because I said so."